Good morning. It's 9 AM on Tuesday, the 15th of October. I'm just setting off on an overnight youth hostel trip to Kington Youth Hostel. It's on the Welsh border in Herefordshire. If you picture the road, the A44 between Worcester and Aberystwyth, it's somewhere along there to give you an idea of its location. I picked up tonight's youth hostel in a 50% sale. It cost me £6.50. Normally it'd be £13 for the night, so I grabbed myself a bargain. About a month ago, I'd also picked up a 50% reduction for a night at Lytton Cheney Youth Hostel. It's on Chesil Beach down in Dorset near Weymouth. Had to postpone that trip because sadly my mother passed away about a month ago, so I've been tied up sorting her affairs out, arranging funerals, that sort of things. So I'm going to be on my way now. I'll tell you more about today's adventure and tonight's destination en route. The first section of today's ride is on the Bath to Bristol cycle path, which is actually celebrating its 40th anniversary this year. Very popular with commuters. Runs alongside the Bittern Heritage Railway. So I'm going to continue this way up to Severn Bridge. Next update there. Welcome back. I'm now about to cross the Severn Estuary, across the original Severn Bridge. Not much traffic about today. That's the site of the old toll booths. They removed them a while back. The bridge has actually paid for itself in the 53 years since it was built. The tolls on the second bridge have been removed as well. The idea is to stimulate the economy of Wales as well. So I'm back on my Caribou, which is my staple winter bike, and it's what I use for most of my touring and camping. You see I've got the front panniers on the back. I've still got the front pannier rack on from some camping I did over the summer, because I may well do a winter camp, I'm not too sure yet. I've stopped on the carriageway of the Severn Bridge. I often do, just to have a look upstream and take in the view. One of the cycling highlights of my year so far was riding across the Forth Road Bridge. It had been a very hard day due to the weather and the distance on my alternative end-to-end from Dover to Cape Wrath. It's 9 PM now. I'm still about 12 miles from my destination. This has got to be one of the highlights of the trip. I'm on the Forth Road Bridge. It's pretty much closed. I've had to change carriageways. There's the iconic Forth Railway Bridge over there. Pan round. There's the M90 motorway bridge. Wow, what a sight. Oh, there's a cruise ship out there just heading out to sea. Wonder where they're going. It's been a long day, but oh, wow, this has made it worthwhile. It's now 3:05 and I've just ridden up from Wormlow. I'm going to cross over this main road. It's the Hereford to Abergavenny road. I'm going to head this way towards Hay-on-Wye, but I'm at the well-known Audax control of Lock's Garage. It's a really good place to stop. There's toilets here, there's plenty of places to sort of sit and eat food. It's a very well-stocked shop. So spend a few minutes here, give my Garmin a quick charge, then I'll be on my way. During the first quarter of the ride, soon after I crossed over the Severn Bridge, I dropped down to the River Wye and I rode up alongside it past Tintern Abbey up to Monmouth. I'm now much further upstream. I keep seeing road signs for Hereford, Ross-on-Wye, Hay-on-Wye. It gives you an idea of the geography, although I'm not heading towards any of those centres. About 17 miles from my destination now. It's about 10 to 4 now. I'm in the depths of Herefordshire. Really nice quiet roads. Really come to like this county. You can see it's quite rolling. I'm now about 3 miles from the hostel, so I'll be getting there about 5:30, but I'm looking west over towards the Welsh mountains. Black Mountains, Brecon Beacons in the far distance, and I'm on this really minor road heading into Kington. Really looking forward to getting there. It's only 84 miles today, but I'm always of the opinion it doesn't matter whether you've done 250 or I don't know 105 or something, or even today 84. It's always nice to get there. The last few miles counting down is such a thrill and a buzz. These last few miles coming into Kington really are fantastic. Now I'm getting that usual buzz as the distance is counting down to 0 as I home in on my target. I've said it so often in my videos on long distance bike rides. I find counting down the distances, especially below 100, 99 miles to go, less than 100, 75, less than 100 kilometres, 49, less than 50 in the last 10 miles. It's just such a buzz. I find it such a motivational lift. So I was studying recently and I was taught this procrastination technique, and it's called the Pomodoro technique, and it involves just setting aside 25 minutes of undisturbed, switch off all your alarms and your phone and everything, all distractions, 25 minutes of focused studying, and then give yourself a reward. And I find it a very, very effective technique. And I was thinking recently, hey, my turbo sessions, which I actually quite find difficult to motivate myself to do, around about 25 minutes, why don't I apply the same technique? So I downloaded a Pomodoro timer, 25-minute timer that counts down, and I've tried that for the last couple of turbo sessions. I find it's really helped. I mean, I've tried to make my turbo setup as interesting as possible. I've got a fan, I've got water bottles on it, I've got a big digital display in front of me, play some music, but I found the counting down really, really beneficial, and I think it's the same effect. It's early days yet, but I'll keep you updated with how it goes. There's another hack I was told about recently. You probably gather I love going out having adventures. I don't struggle with motivation getting outside riding, but indoor turbo training, I have to admit I do sometimes, hence the using a procrastination technique. So I normally do about 10 minutes of warming up just to loosen my muscles up, and then do a few intervals, then just 10 minutes warming down, and that's my turbo session. That's about all I can take. I discovered recently there's some research which seemed to suggest that the first interval you do is actually the most effective. They actually likened it to soaking a sponge, full of water, and if you squeeze it out, most of the water comes out with the first squeeze. Now, if you carry on squeezing it, of course you're going to get more water, and it's the same with interval training. To get the maximum training effect, yes, you need to do a set number of them, but for people like me who just really want it for strength training and not really to get the maximum effect from it, I've started just doing 1 4-minute interval based on this theory. It's research back from 2013. I'll try and put a link to it in the video below. So again, I'll let you know how I get on with that throughout the winter. Well, we're in Kington now, right above the River Arrow. It's a lovely location. It really feels almost continental. It feels like being on holiday. The scenery's different, rolling. A lot of the place names, the minor places are unfamiliar. It just really does feel like being a long way from home, not just a few counties away. Just coming up to 6 PM and I've just arrived at the hostel, so I'll just go and check in, find my room, come back and lock my bike away, then go and have a shower, some food and some beers. I've just picked up a couple of bottles of Sandmig from a garage about half a mile away. It's 10 to 7. I'm now having had a shower in the self-catering kitchen, so I'll just run through what I normally bring. So I bought this from Bath. It's just a tin of chicken curry, margarine, coffee and sweetness for the morning. I quite often bring condensed squash of some sort. This is, what's that, summer fruits, orange squash, lemon squash, something like that. Just really nice to have a squash drink. I'll make my water bottles up with that in the morning as well. Bag of cereal for the morning. This is what I bought on the way in. A loaf of bread, bought 2 bottles of Sandmig, the other one's in the fridge there. And then through here is the dining room. So I'm just boiling up some pasta, I'll boil that, drain it off, mix the chicken curry in. So it's coming up to 8 p.m. now. Just sat in the common room with my second beer. It's great, they've even got beer glasses here. I mentioned as I came into Kington earlier on a couple of hacks that I'm going to be trying regarding my turbo training and my strength training over the winter. Another one that was passed on to me actually by a neuroscientist regards really the sort of motivation when you're really struggling. That's how I would apply it anyway, not on a ride like today, but there's been a few times over the last few years on very long rides, my Lindisfarne ride and my Bath Great Yarmouth Aberystwyth Bath 1200 last year spring to mind. When you're really struggling, in my case I'm not too bothered by the weather, whatever it throws at me, I'm normally okay. What really trips me up is sleep deprivation. I really do struggle with that. So the advice was to just switch off your stress response, and you can do that quite easily by just flipping your negative thoughts. So for instance, instead of me saying I'm going to miss my time cut off, just turn it into a question. Am I going to miss my time cut off? That's just a simple example, but you get the idea. Just by turning it into a question, you switch on your analytical mind, and it really does dial down the stress response. There's some research backing this up as well. The US Air Force have done some research along these sort of lines. I mean, I guess fighter pilots know a thing or two about stress. So I've used self-talk in the past, but I'm unfamiliar with this particular technique, so again I don't know when I'm likely to use it, if ever, but I thought that was a really good piece of advice. I think it's worth sharing.